Hello and welcome back to another video on the Football Zone and to a midweek review reviewing all of this weekend's Champions League and Championship action. Let's get straight into it with the Champions League and starting off with a pretty dull game, to be honest. Frankfurt 0, Tottenham 0. Wasn't a lot between the two teams in this one, only 3 shots on goal really, so that kind of sums up the quality of the match. And yeah, for Tottenham it's frustrating because they had a chance to really hammer home their chances of reaching knockout stages. They're still in a good position, but yeah, I think they'll be frustrated not to come away with this one in 3. And 4 points between them two, it hangs in the balance at the halfway stage. Moving on then to Liverpool though, and they got a win against Rangers in the British derby kind of. Trent Alexander-Arnold with a lovely free kick in the 7th minute, potentially silencing some of his doubters. Mo Salah in the 53rd minute from the spot then gave Liverpool double the lead. Liverpool on 6 points after that bad start. It does put them in a good position to advance now, doesn't it really? Still Napoli on 9 points, so they've got some work to do if they want to come top. But yeah, for Rangers it's looking increasingly tough now for them to even get in the Europa League. Moving on then to Wednesday's Champions League games, and at Stamford Bridge it was a big win for Chelsea and their hopes to qualify. Fofana, Aubameyang and James with a goal. It does seem like Fofana may have picked up an injury, which is really bad news for Chelsea though. But yeah, Chelsea, they were going to be in trouble if they lost this, with only 1 point, but as it stands in 4th, just above Milan on goal difference, and that's big for them. Really, isn't it? It gives them some hope at the halfway stage, where before that, if they lost, they could have been in trouble. So that's a big result for them, and kind of does get the Potter era rolling almost. Before it is then time for Man City 5, Copenhagen 0, and the first half an hour was the Haaland show, and 7th to 32nd minute, got subbed off at half time, but they were 3-0 up at that point for an own goal, and then Mahrez scored a penalty, and Alvarez in the second half gave City the victory, kind of typical City performance. Haaland just being a machine. They were dominant here, 16 shots on goal, 30 goal attempts, compared to Copenhagen, who didn't get any goal attempts. And yeah, there's a real golfing class between top 2 in this group and the bottom 2, and I think this shows. Moving on then to the Championship action this week, and starting off on Tuesday's games, and it finished Sunderland 0, Blackpool 0, this really wasn't too good a game, to be honest. Wasn't a lot to it to sides. Maybe if you had to pick one, Sunderland just edged it, but yeah, Sunderland seem to be picking up some 0-0 draws at the moment, but it's steady. Blackpool probably a better point for them as they've been struggling recently, not a lot to say really. Moving on into Sheffield United, and they lost at home shockingly to Queen's Park Rangers. Because their home form, I think they've just lost once before this under Paul Heckingbottom at home. Chris Waddett was the only goal of the game in the 51st minute. And Sheffield United, it wasn't for lack of trying, but Sonny Dieng had a really good performance, but still they only created a few chances. But QPR take nothing away from them. They're really going strong now, performing well under Michael Beale. So yeah, they've got lots of confidence. They're into the top 4 now, so both these things are on a really good run, and QPR picking up a great result. Moving on then to Luton 3, Huddersfield 3 at Kenilworth Road. Morris' own goal gave Huddersfield a 1-0 lead before Adebayo equalised scoring. Rose then scored from the spot to make it 2-1 before Adebayo and Clark gave Luton a lead, but Jackson in the 70th minute gave Huddersfield the equaliser. And Luton, they'll be wondering how they didn't win this. They really should have won this. Just a frustrating day. Huddersfield though, first points under Fotheringham. Gutsy performance to get it, but I think Luton will just be incredibly frustrated how they didn't win this. But for Huddersfield, hopefully the start of some momentum. Moving on then to Bristol City 0, Coventry 0 at Ashton Gate, and another game where let's just face it, it wasn't the best game. Pretty even. You'd say here a draw was a fair result. For Bristol City, kind of slots the rot of losses, but they would have wanted a win here. For Coventry, unbeaten in 4 now, but still 3 draws from that, so I think both these teams kind of need wins. A result that you probably have to say doesn't really suit either team, to be honest. But moving on then to Cardiff 1, Blackburn 0. Harris with the only goal of the game in the 83rd minute, but that wasn't where the drama ended. In the 95th minute, Hurst missed the penalty for Blackburn, and for Cardiff it's a fully deserved victory, but for Blackburn missing a last minute penalty, you're just going to be so frustrated, aren't you? And yeah, Cardiff sit 15th now. Good win for them. Manager question mark, still hanging over. Maybe Interim might get it if he's still performing like this. But for Blackburn, frustrating result, and they just win or lose, don't they? But moving on then to Reading 1, Norwich 1. And yeah, a really intriguing game between two of the side's top three teams. Hanley gave Norwich lead in the 15th minute, but Reading reacted 10 minutes later through Jeff Hendrick. And yeah, to be honest, I'd actually say if any team were going to win it, it would probably be Reading. But yeah, on the whole, I'd say a draw is probably a fair result. But Reading, still surprising people, keeping up with the big teams, and that's some achievement considering all the embargoes and stuff like that they've had. Norwich a frustrating result, but I guess they'll kind of take the feeling that you can't win them all. Moving on then to Watford 1, Swansea 2 at Vicarage Road. And yeah, a bit of a surprise result for this, especially after such a great start for Slaven Bilic at the weekend. Sarr gave Watford the lead in the 34th minute, but the second half comeback from Natcham in the 52nd minute, and late on 98th minute, Ben Cabango gave Swansea the victory. And yeah, I'd say a draw is a fair result here, but Swansea played really well, and yeah, they'll certainly be pleased with that 3 points. And yeah, it seems them rocketing right up the table now. Which is good for them after a tough start, really. But moving on then to Rotherham as they drew 1-1 with Millwall. And yeah, Rotherham took the lead in the 9th minute through a Barlaza penalty, but Fleming in the 42nd minute, just before half-time, gave Millwall the equaliser. If one team were going to win, you'd probably say Millwall would have just edged it. But on the whole, I'd say a draw was a fair result. Gary Rowell, I think, would be frustrated. He probably would have wanted the win out of it. But for Rotherham, they're ticking along nicely. I mean, yeah, probably wasn't a bad result for them either. But moving on then to Middlesbrough, who beat Birmingham 1-0. And yeah, Akpom with the only goal of the game in the 23rd minute. And yeah, once again, a game that wasn't a lot to pick between the two sides. But Middlesbrough, the interim manager, getting Chris Wilder out, there's quite a lot of rumours of discontent with him charged. Maybe that helped them. New interim manager at least seems quite passionate. So yeah, I mean, good win for them. Birmingham would be frustrated not to come away with the point, because, performance there for at least a point was there, I'd say, but yeah, it is what it is. Moving on then to Hull 2, Wigan 0 at Hull 2, Wigan 1, at McCaycon. Will Keane with a goal in the 14th minute, but Hull scored in the 21st and the 65th minute to give themselves the victory. And yeah, once again, a game that wasn't a lot to pick between the two sides, but yeah, Hull picking up a much needed victory. For Wigan, though, yeah, they had a really good away form before this, so they'll be disappointed not to come away with anything. But for Hull, it's a massive victory, and maybe if their interim manager had been given more than 9 hours to prepare for the last one, they might have got a result in that one too. But anyway, Burnley 1, Stoke 1 was the score at Turf Moor. And yeah, Roberts gave Burnley lead in the 54th minute, and Clark in the 87th minute equalised for Stoke. And it's another game where Burnley were in control, leading, and kind of have lost points from that winning position. That's just got to stop happening, because now what are they there? 5 points off Sheffield United and Norwich already, so starting to lose ground. That needs to be picked up as soon as possible, really. You feel, because they can't afford too many missed chances, really. But anyway, moving on then to Preston 1, West Brom 0 at Deepdale. Reece with the only goal in the 7th minute, and West Brom pushed for the equaliser, but in the end they couldn't find one. We know how solid Preston's defence is, and so it proved here again. And yeah, for West Brom, I sense that we a deeply frustrating result. But Steve Bruce, now you look at the quality in that side, and you kind of get the feeling he must nearly be on borrowed time now, because yeah, it's just not working out there. But for Preston, defence keeps tight again. They don't score often, but when they do, they seem to make it count with that tight defence. But anyway, guys, that's it for the video. Thanks very much for watching. Remember to like, share, subscribe, don't thoughts, comments, and follow this as a show for daily football news, and subscribe to my channel, subscribe now, we greatly appreciated. Thanks very much for watching. Peace out.